Devil May Cry. Sorry, we closed at 9. Again, no password. I can't seem to get any real business.
Whoa, slow down, babe.
Well, what do we have here? Nature calls? It's in the back.
So, you must be the handyman who'll take any dirty job. Am I correct?
Almost. I only take special jobs, if you know what I mean.
You're the man who lost a mother and a brother to evil 20 years ago. The son of the legendary Dark Knight Sparta, Mr. Dante.
Well, the way I figure it, in this business a lot of your kind comes around. And if I kill each one that comes, eventually I should hit the jackpot sooner or later.
In that case, you should be used to this sort of thing.
Are you really the son of the legendary Dark Knight Sparta? Didn't your daddy teach you how to use a sword?
Sword. Haha. Time to go to work, guys.
Hello, my gaming brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. As always, I am Jonathan, your host here at QuickBird Gaming. Thanks for tuning back in for my latest episode of How Does It Play Today, my series where I look back on games celebrating their 25th anniversary. Since we're in 2026, we're looking at games from 2001. For this video, I chose the game Devil May Cry. Now, this is the original PS2 version? Yes, PS2 version that I am checking out. And I thought I would take a look. Now, for anybody unfamiliar, Devil May Cry is a game and a series now that centers around the protagonist Dante. He's got some mystical, I'm not sure if it's parentage. He's just basically, he's tuned into heaven and hell, and he is involved in demon fighting and demon slaying and all that kind of mystical thing. So this is what I was checking out. Now, as you can see here from the bit of gameplay that I'm showing up front here, the gameplay takes on the kind of a fixed camera aspect as you move through the world. And as I understand this game actually started out as a Resident Evil game sometime around the time of Resident Evil 4. And this was originally being developed for that, but because it's very combat heavy and because of some other things, it was not ended up being a Resident Evil, although you can see right there, the door said it may be sealed, a rusty key would help. Very much still has its Resident Evil roots. And as you move through this is the opening chapter of the game, you fight puppets that drop from the ceiling and everything, and you have to move through the game. You have your various weapons, your swords you can use, you have a pair of pistols you can use, and the idea is that as you fight your way through, you keep advancing and furthering the plot. Now, obviously, I'm just touching on the very bare bones aspects of the game. There's a lot more to it than just running through castles and fighting stuff and picking up keys and solving puzzles. There are a lot of different weapons. There are a lot of upgrades. The orbs he's picking up will help upgrade Dante's skills and life and unlock doors and everything. There's a lot to this game. But I didn't go into great detail for one reason, and that is this. I actually bounced off this game really hard. I wanted to like it. I've played a lot of hack and slash games that are more modern, things like Bayonetta, Nier Automata, and I enjoyed them a great deal. I had a really hard time getting into Devil May Cry, and I'm not sure why. I think a lot of it, for me, has to do with the fixed camera angles, because I've never been a fan of them. These Resident Evil style fixed camera angles. I didn't mind it in games like Final Fantasy 9 or 10, because even though you're in fixed camera angles, you're not in the middle of real-time combat. And it's not always so much what the player can see, it's what the character can't see. You are staring, your character is staring at something that's attacking him, and you obviously can't make a move to get around it because you can't see it, even though he can, or she. That always has annoyed me. And people would say, "Well, did it bother you with the Resident Evil games?" And I'd say, "Yeah, I did not play Resident Evil 2 or 3 in the original form until after I had played the remakes, and I didn't enjoy them nearly as much as I enjoyed the remakes. I really enjoyed the over-the-shoulder perspective better. So this is a hard style of game for me to enjoy." And I just did not find myself getting into this and liking it very much. I'm going to lay some of my difficulty in enjoying this also at the feet of the combat in the game. It's clumsy and a little bit clunky. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing I've ever played, not by a long shot. I have played far worse. But it just doesn't feel very tactile. And people are going to say, well, that's because you're playing a game that's 25 years old. And I get that. But I play, older shooters from 25 years ago, and they don't feel nearly as clumsy in comparison to, say, current shooters. It just didn't feel quite right to me, and that's just going to be a personal preference. So it's like I said, it wasn't awful, but I didn't really enjoy it, say, as much as, like I just said, in similar games like the more modern Bayonetta. I will say that I think the sound design in the game is pretty good, as is the music. You see it shifts to a much more up-tempo beat when you're in combat, as opposed to, at least in this section of the game, a slower, more eerie, and more moody kind of setting that tone for exploring an empty castle. So I enjoyed the sound design, and I don't think the graphics are that bad, all things considered. Again, we're talking about a PS2 game. And I don't think it was bad at all. The game also features some decent cutscenes. I'm going to let one roll here as I speak. And so I don't want it to sound like I'm completely dogging on Devil May Cry, because I'm not. I honestly can't say I played enough of it to actually have that negative opinion. I just didn't have a good first impression. So really, this video is going to be a bit unlike every other How Does It Play Today video I've posted to this point. In every other one, I've offered a definitive opinion to say whether a game is, in my opinion, worth revisiting 25 years later, if it's still worth playing, or if it's no longer worth playing. That it's just been overcome by advances in quality of life and graphics and controlling and so on. With Devil May Cry, I don't have a good feel for it. And I know that a lot of people love this franchise. Maybe if not this specific game, it seems like the opinions I've seen online about the original one are still mixed. Most people tend to like it, but I think it's more of a nostalgia factor. A lot of people do admit to the gameplay not being as smooth as the more current versions. So I'm really going to kind of leave this up to you, the viewer. I would like to know what you think. First, on a personal level, do you think I should continue with this? Would it be better for me to skip ahead to the more current iterations? From what I read, Devil May Cry 5, people say, is the absolute best game of the series. A lot of people have said that. And I know that being a more modern game, it might be more my taste. At the same time, I'd like to hear from you. Do you think this game is worth playing today? Do you think there's anything I could do to make my gameplay more enjoyable? In the sense of, I'm not talking about modding it specifically, but just in terms of a mindset, it's hard for me to overcome the fixed camera angle thing. I admit that. But is there anything I should take away? Do I need to play this to play the later games in the series? So I'm just kind of asking you all, what do you think? Do you think this game is worth playing today? And do you think I should continue to give it a chance? I'm willing. If left to my own devices, I think I would move on. But if somebody said, hey, look, you just need to do X, play it for a certain amount of time, and I think you'll really start to enjoy it because of these reasons, I might be willing to give it another try and get into it a little more. So that's kind of about it on Devil May Cry. Like I said, I just don't think I got deep enough into this game to make a good judgment. But I wasn't enjoying myself enough to really go a whole lot deeper. So I'm going to leave it up to you, and I'd like you to tell me this time if you think it's worth playing today. I appreciate you tuning in for this video, even though it's probably not what y'all were expecting. And I thank you all for checking out the channel and coming and seeing. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing. It only takes one click. It helps me out a whole bunch. And if you are subscribed, hit that bell for notifications. That's much appreciated as well. And please leave a like on the video and tell me what you think in the comments. This is one case where I really do want to hear from folks what they thought about this game. And again, if they think it is worth continuing and then whether I should continue. All right, folks, I will return the next How Does It Play Today. I'm hoping it's going to be something I can give a little better description on, a little more detail. And we'll see you then. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. And y'all go out there and live your best lives. And y'all stay gaming.